the entertainment highlight of the week.
Red Ray Gun Limited presents
The Benji and Nick Show.
Hello.
Well, that was a bit of a groucho. Oh dear.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good day.
Good evening.
Goodness.
Good. Loch Ness. God, that was easy. Played
Straight
right
into
into
it.
my hands there. Wonderful.
Now, this is the Benji and Nick Show.
It certainly is.
I'm not Benji.
And I'm not Nick, but there's one thing that we love, and it is cult television. Gems on the past, gems from the future. Well, not gems from the future, that's a complete lie. Just gems on the past, things you might remember, things you choose to forget, and some things that you didn't remember, but now you do, and you want to forget it anyway. Basically, anything old and on television. We like it.
Yeah, so this edition we're recapping for the third and hopefully final time, but I don't hold out much hope for that actually, reliving the past glories of our podcast and giving you a guide to all the cult TV we've been chatting about for well over a year now. Also, you heard there the Loch Ness game. So here is an introduction to what the Loch Ness game actually is. Roll the film.
Loch Ness, the game which has swept the United Kingdom by storm. In this short instructional video, we'll teach you not just how to play the Loch Ness game, but how to win. The Loch Ness game was invented by Nigel Gresley Hargreaves whilst holidaying in Scotland. It was originally the result of a miscommunication at precisely 11:59 a.m. For by the time he'd finished wishing his friend good morning, it was in fact the afternoon. This argument went on for several minutes before Nigel slipped on a banana skin and fell into the loch, forcing his friend to exclaim, "Loch Ness." Since then, the game has become a staple of evening entertainment, job interviews, and has even resulted in the creation of the official Loch Ness governing body. But how do you play? First, one person instigates the traditional, original greeting, "Good morning." This is usually followed by "Good day," which is then usually followed by "Good afternoon," to which then the other player would probably choose "Good evening." Now we enter the elimination period, where you must out-Ness your opponent by giving them a good statement. Popular examples are "Good heavens," "Good gracious," "Good gravy," "Good to be here," and "Good tidings we bring." Now you must look for a hesitation in the other player. Once the other player hesitates, for example here saying "good," then it is tradition for the player hesitating to simply offer up with a "goodness." And it is then for the winning player to shout "Loch Ness," after which both players usually give each other a friendly handshake and go about their daily business. So next time you're greeted with a good morning, always be prepared to enter the playing field. And remember, Loch Ness. This has been a special Loch Ness information film brought to you by the governors of Loch Ness Gaming Society, Glings.
Very handy there. A nice little sort of helpful thing. I often forget how old the game actually is.
Indeed, yeah.
It's really rooted in British history.
It's true. We do three types of Benji and Nick show, which sometimes we just talk about something we've set ourselves to watch. Like last week we watched When Eight Bells Toll and spoke about that, which we loved. A James Bondy sort of Alistair MacLean movie starring Anthony Hopkins. That sort of thing. We've done, well, you'll hear in our recap the kind of stuff we've done. And if you are a regular listener, you're thinking, get on with it! Sometimes we do a bit of commentary and sometimes we just talk about what we're watching.
Whatever we like.
We also tried to get in touch with Jamie Anderson. He's in Cannes at the moment, so who knows what might happen. But we also read out your emails. Do you want to do the first one?
I'd love to, yeah, sure. Just pictured Jamie Anderson stuck inside a little tin can. You're not coming out.
Let me out.
No, there's no part. I've locked the doors. There's no door on it. Anyway, first.
How do you get in?
Magic. First, he's got a little suitcase like in Secret Service. There he is. We'll shrink you back. If you're nice, we'll make you big again. This one here is from our good friend Anthony Zahetner. Subject for this one is thank you for the Sheila shout out and an idea at the Earth's core. And it was sent on the 15th of the 10th, 2019 at 16:05. Good year, definitely. Dear Benji, or should I say Hamish and Nick. There we go.
Do you remember you were saying
referring to the gag the other week? Yeah.
The other Jamie from the Mind Dropper.
Jamie, you've got a different face. Yes. Thanks for the tribute to Sheila Stiefel in the last podcast.
Prompted by you, Anthony.
Yes, very much so. Well done. She told me she once was in a play with Tom Baker and also starred alongside Anthony Ainley in the 1965 TV series It's Dark Outside, in an episode entitled The Prevalence of Liars. That rings a bell for some reason. Oliver Reed and William Mervyn were also in it, and Sheila played a lesbian. She found Anthony Ainley rugged, silent, and interesting.
That's in quotes, yes.
Yes. For a future podcast, would you like to cover At the Earth's Core, the 1976 Amicus movie starring Peter Cushing and directed by Milton Subotsky? Mark Gatiss says it is the unofficial third Doctor Who movie for Cushing. Cushing. What did I say? Cushing. It's because I used to call them the Cushing films when I was a little boy. Because of course I read his name as you would just as a child would just interpret it.
Didn't you say Peter Cushion? That's a lot of people said that. I think my son said Peter Cushion.
I wish it was Peter Cushion.
He called in the I am Doctor Who man.
Doctor Who. Brilliant. If only we could have done some audio stories of him at Big Finish. Just imagine, yes. It also stars...
Attack the Daleks!
Attack the Daleks! This order cannot be countermanded.
Speak quickly!
Oh, God.
All right, this order cannot be countermanded.
Quicker! Oh, write it down. It also stars Caroline Munro and Doug McClure. Have
you seen it, by the way, At the Earth?
I've not, but I really want to now, especially given the fact that it's a possible third film. You could even try and watch it in a laboratory. Laboratory. I was watching Planet of the Daleks today, and the Daleks say laboratory.
Laboratory.
Yeah, it's really. I find it a very hard word to say. Laboratory.
Well, people say laboratory now, which sounds to me like
sounds a bit like lavatory.
Lavatory. Exactly.
But I choose to say lavatory at every and any opportunity I can, because it's a great word, isn't it? Lavatory. Yeah, I'm just going to nip to lavatory.
Just insert it randomly into.
So
would
this
you like
is a lovely lavatory,
Benji? Lavatory. Oh, okay.
The lavatory.
A lavatory.
Lavatory, yeah. I like saying Kazi as well. You could either watch it in a lab, said in Cushing dulcet tones. Laboratory. Laboratory. I'm sure you can spot many of the hidden Who references and Cushingisms. Cheers, Anthony.
There you go. Maybe we should do At the Earth's Core at some point. Anyway, Lost in Space and a few other suggestions. This is from Alexander Jones, sent on the 11th of October at 12:04. Quite a medieval time. Dear Nick and Benji, I've known about your podcast for some time now, but a few weeks ago I decided to finally take the plunge listening during a quiet week away in Cornwall. What a great time I had! What? In Cornwall or listening? I don't know. I'm almost completely caught up with the backlog now. Gosh, this is dedication, and have enjoyed every and each episode. As a big fan of the truly underrated Death to the Daleks, I especially enjoyed your episodes on that. Sorry, I say I don't feel the same way about Revenge of the Cybermen, but I did enjoy those episodes too. Little poking out tongue, eyes closed emoji. What does that mean?
It's a mixed story, that one, isn't it? You know, people don't love it, but people don't hate it. Some love it and adore it, Nick. Some don't.
Just
so
one,
much.
Just
one. Yes.
Cool. Have you ever considered doing an episode on the 1965 classic Lost in Space? I'd also love to hear your thoughts on anthology series like The Twilight Zone. Well, big fan is Benji, or The Outer Limits if you ever got the chance. I have talked about The Outer Limits. on the Benji and Nick show, and some recent ones actually, because I bought the box set, BBC anthology sci-fi series that later sort of mutated into a kind of Tales of the Unexpected thing. I didn't think it was so good, but there's a fantastic John Wyndham adaptation in it. Not sure if it's greedy to suggest so many things at once. Of course it's not, but I gave it a shot. Anyway, please keep up the fantastic work. All the best, Alex from South Wales. Love a bit of South Wales. Often visit there for various reasons that you may know about. Wow. There's some food for thought.
There is. There's some good Halloween things there with Twilight Zone and Outer Limits, isn't there? Lost in Space, another good one there.
Have you ever seen the original Lost in Space?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to watch it. I've not seen it in absolute years, but I remember it. I was very fond of it growing up.
It is arrant nonsense.
Well, that's the beautiful thing of being a child. You just believe anything. It's like when we were talking about Batman, wasn't it? You know, and the fact that you just believe it. Batman, you know, you just believe it, even though it's ludicrous.
I don't know. It's quite difficult to sit through Lost in Space now. Anyway, carry on.
Oh, we've got another one here. Subject brilliant podcast. This is from River Jones. We always say River Jones. Could be a good singer name, I think. Good crooner. It was sent on my
birthday.
On your birthday, 29th of the 9th, 2019. At 9:57. Very, very early in the time.
On the Sunday.
History on the Sunday, yeah. I wonder what was happening in the year 950. No, I'm not going to go down that route. Hello, Benji and Nick. Finally getting around to let you know how much I enjoy your podcast. Not only does it remind me of some classic TV shows, some great, some not so, but I fondly remember watching, either at the time, although many from the early days of UK Gold. Yes, UK Gold. There was a channel that really was in its prime back in the old 90s. However, the main reason for listening is getting your tips on things I missed. Zodiac, loved it. Astrology is rude word here. Astrology is bollocks though.
Correct.
Flip side of Dominic Hyde, amazingly good. Sandbaggers, brilliant. Yes. And you haven't reviewed. Just told us you were watching it, Nick. If only BF Big Finish would do 30 more episodes.
Oh, I'd love to.
I have got the Sandbaggers on DVD.
Have you watched it yet?
I watched the first one. Didn't think it was that good, but everybody says the
Blasphemer!
Everybody says the first one isn't that great, and then it just gets better and better and better.
It's just and it grain. I don't know whether the other episodes are necessarily better, but it just gains momentum and you just buy into it. It's great.
It's a bit talky, I seem to recall.
It is. It's very talky.
Yeah, we'll see. May I humbly suggest a few things that I would love to review in the future. Love us to review, sorry. Number one, Ultraviolence, a Channel 4 series from the 90s starring Jack Davenport, chasing modern-day vampires.
You've seen it?
Yeah, back in the day. Don't remember anything about it other than it existing.
It's very good.
But it's got huge support, hasn't it, behind it? Cardiac Arrest, BBC's slightly controversial medical series, quite shocking at the time.
Yeah, did you see that?
Never seen that, no.
Really shocking. I remember in the first episode something really ghastly happens. I can't even tell you what it was. It was, I watched quite a lot of it. It was, groundbreaking. Max Beasley was in it.
Oh, he's great. I've got a lot of time for him. Yeah. Doom Watch, sadly many episodes missing. Yeah,
I've just been watching Doom Watch.
How peculiar. There you go.
Dun dun dun, ba dun 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 dun, ba dun dun. Shut up.
It's iconic. Shut up. Dun, 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 dun. Iconic telly though. Of course, the Omega Factor.
Oh yes, that we should.
Jemima Shaw investigates.
Get Lost.
When the boat comes in. Sorry, I do love a period drama.
Thou shalt have a fishy on a little dishy when the boat comes in.
When the boat comes in. Yes, terrible accent.
When the boat comes in. It was terrible, yeah. Thou shalt have a fishy on a little dishy. Thou shalt have a haddock when the boat comes in. Dance little. Anyway, sorry.
Just makes you think of Alan Partridge every time he speaks to Michael. Come back later. When the boat comes in. Hey, Mr. Partridge, sir. I can't. One of the accents I just can't do is Geordie.
Most people can't do it.
It's the hardest one. The only thing I can do is yeah, mate. That's about it. Hey mates, that's
Yeah,
about it.
sounds a bit Jamaican to me.
It does. Yeah.
That's the trouble. I did it at drama school. We did our final production when And a Nightingale Sang, and it was set in that area, and we were all fighting with the accent, and one of the stage management team who was overhearing the rehearsal said, "You all sound like you're doing Jamaican accents." It's terrible.
It's a hard one. I just need to sit and watch loads of Crocodile Shoes, and I'll be all right.
When the Boat Comes In, by the way, was a phenomenon on British television. It was so popular. It was just dry as a bone, video multi-camera drama. But I mean, absolutely had. I hated it, of course, because I was too young for it, and it was just all about the depression and businessmen and blah blah. Anyway. Carry on.
Certainly something to consider. May I also suggest future Doctor Who's for commentaries? Creature from the Pit, the Sunmakers, the Horns of Nymon. Some interesting choices there. You may note that they are not necessarily Nick's favourites, so it will be all the more difficult to say positive things.
It would be, yeah.
So it could be a laugh.
Laughy emoji.
Failing that, Warriors Gate.
I
love Warriors Gate. Got no problems with doing Warriors Gate.
I loved it at the time, but when I've rewatched it, I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I love all that stuff in the behind them. With the knights, like the suits of armour and all that business. I forgot Piece of Cake. Another excellent recommendation. And that. Yes, Tripods is pants, but I loved the books when I was 9. Real Tripods really is a mixed bag. Like so many people either love it or hate it. But I see it
written here in front of me. It says, "And yes, Tripods is pants." So it's in black and white. So it's true. Must be true because
I'm saying nothing.
River has said it.
I love it. Best wishes to all. Stop, don't move, and keep up the good work, River. A Blake 7 fan, sad year. Also a Space 1999 fan. Great Big Finish year. However, not so cult cool. I love the Duchess of Duke Street and strangely anything but Nazis. Brackets disturbing.
Yeah. Well, there's some areas of the country where there are a few.
Yeah, if you watched that football game the other night, you would have seen it with your own eyes. Shocking.
Time now, shocking. Time now to recap. So where I worked out that it was Into the Labyrinth was the last one we did.
Okay, let me find that on my list.
Oh, I can't find the bloomin' website though. Where is it?
Here we go.
NicholasBriggs.com. I had a tab already up with it, and now I've gone and lost it. I'm going to have to do it again, aren't I?
You incompetent oaf!
NicholasBriggs.com.
It's all right. Whilst he tries to find it, I'll read an excerpt from History Magazine here.
Okay.
Opening a random page. What should we talk about? On the 28th of September 1917, the Kingdom of Siam, brackets modern-day Thailand, adopted a new flag. The decision came in the shape of a royal decree.
Oh, by the way, I did find out what
King
happened
Rama.
in 957.
What did happen?
Ludolf, the eldest son of King Otto, dies of a violent fever near Pombia.
Where on earth's Pombia? Perhaps they made Pom Bear, those crisps.
Yeah. Mercia and Northumbria rebel against King Eadwig and switch their allegiance to his brother Edgar.
Oh, well, Edgar, I mean, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
The English nobles, in support of the church, agree to divide the kingdom along the River Thames. Anyway, so where am I with this blooming thing? So it was Into the Labyrinth, which was 18th of November 2018. We've already spoken about that. So the next one was the ITC celebration we went to. That was released on the 25th of November 2018.
That was great fun, wasn't it? I distinctly remember there were these great little bowls for the buffet, and then we turned it upside down and made you wear it as a little hat. I don't know why that
popped
because
of the beer we were drinking.
most probably. That was a great do. That was really good fun. Really interesting.
In that one, there are lots of clips of interviews. There's what's his name, who played Simon Templar in The Return of the Saint?
Ian Ogilvy.
Ian Ogilvy is a bit of Ian Ogilvy there.
Jenny Hanley.
Jenny Hanley. Yeah, there's some little interesting bits. The next one was on the 2nd of December 2018. Just One More Thing.
Columbo. There was a good recommendation. That was good fun, that was.
Yeah. I've got good. On the 9th of December 2018, I've got a feeling you had something to do with this.
Definitely. The pilot episode of London's Burning, which is was like a short film, really. Absolutely great. Recommend that 100%. Fantastic.
Did I like it, though?
You did. You thought it was really good. You were pleasantly surprised.
Okay. In contrast, on the 16th of December 2018, we did something called Escape into Night, which was based on a book called Someone's Dream or something.
Garbage.
And they made it into a movie called... It's the most violently negative review you've ever given anything.
Just loathed it. Just loathed it with a passion worse than redemption.
And the hilarious thing for me was that you thought it was like an anthology series or something, because the first episode you thought was so dull that the story couldn't possibly go on. You said, when I said, and then it carries on, you went, what, there's more?
I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I didn't like it, which is in complete contrast to the following one, which is Box of Delights, which we absolutely just went for with full 5 out of 5.
Yeah, and we did that for Christmas, and we'd been building up to that, hadn't we? By the way, Escaping Tonight, did you watch the later episodes to hear the sort of Dalek-y modulation on the
I saw a few clips of it, yeah. I did. I mean, I wasn't going to sit and wait for them to appear. But I did. They do sound very, very like Daleks, don't they? Very weird.
Which is why I liked it as a kid, you see.
Quite odd looking as well, aren't they? The weird rocky things.
Anyway, Box of Delights, talking of Doctor Who, Patrick Troughton in it, giving a great performance. I think I was a little bit funny about the strange animation in it, wasn't I? Yeah,
I think, but which is okay, because we were sort of like, well, it's just such a good, so ambitious for its time that it was kind of all right.
And then there was a thing called Alien England that I put out over the New Year, which was an audio book, just one episode of an audio book that I wrote as an experiment. Did you ever hear it?
No, I didn't. There was something going. It was Christmas around that time, wasn't it? So it was just chaos.
You could hear it any time, mate.
I do need to, because a lot of people really enjoy it as well and want more of that one.
Well, if I tell you what it's about, it'll make you giggle, because it's about England after a post-Brexit election and a right-wing coalition government comes in.
Well, maybe you should stop writing it altogether, Nick, because perhaps you've created this weird sort of reality.
Yeah. A bit like, have you ever seen a film called Colossal?
No.
It's a comedy sci-fi film with Anne Hathaway, and a monster arrives in Seoul, like an old Japanese movie monster, and starts stamping on things.
Crikey.
And killing things. And then, but meanwhile, in America, she discovers that every time she goes to a particular playground and just stands there, the monster appears and does exactly everything she does. And then they sort of look on the internet when it returns. So every time she steps into the playground, the monster arrives. And her movements are making the monster move.
I hope they just say, look, just whatever you do, don't go to the playground, you silly woman.
Yeah, I know. The trouble is alcohol abuse comes into it.
Oh, gosh.
And they start behaving irresponsibly. But I haven't seen the end of the movie. I kind of got bored halfway through, but I will go back to it. It's on Netflix. Netflix will remember. So Alien England, have a listen to it. Let me know what you think. It has an alien spacecraft crashes. And
what more do you want?
Yeah, but the idea is that the right-wing government are going to use the aliens to their advantage. Or an alien, I should say. Anyway, I'm giving away the plot. On the 6th of January, we did New Scotland Yard.
New Scotland Yard, great theme tune library music called Eurocrat, for anybody that's interested.
I love the fact that you remember that.
Yeah, I think I was just mostly surprised at the fact that it was called Eurocrat, really. And I thought, well, it doesn't make any sense. It's just the theme to New Scotland Yard. New Scotland Yard, ambitious for what it wanted to be, but then the second the title's finished, it was boring, dull as ditch water.
John Woodvine.
Who's brilliant, but it just felt like sitting in an office with John Woodvine. That's what it was, really.
Special Branch on the 13th of January. What did you think of that?
Loved it to bits. Lots of shaving going on. Again, another really, really good theme tune, that one.
Didn't we talk about how they'd have an electric shaver attached to the car as they drove off?
Definitely. Well,
With a long lead.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just keeps going.
We went crazy on the 20th of January and we just did latest TV we were watching and emails.
Yeah, well, we're a pretty riotous bunch, aren't we?
I can't remember what the programmes were. Following that, I'm really rushing because we're running out of time for what's going to be a shorter podcast. 27th of January 2019, the Beiderbecke Affair. We loved it.
Absolutely loved it. Interesting enough, I think I mentioned this. I was in a record shop the other day and I picked up the soundtrack as a record. So, of course, I had great joy because in the titles you see the needle going down. So it's actually quite therapeutic to put the needle down and then hear it go... Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Oh, good times.
James Bolam and Barbara Flynn and all sorts of brilliant people.
Simple pleasures.
Lovely. We did, on the 3rd of February, we did more TV and emails, so that's a no score draw there, late kickoff. Then we started, Colin Smith started doing fantastic covers for us from the 10th of February 2019. Big shout out to Colin. No, he didn't. He actually did them before, but I started featuring them properly. That's what I mean to say. That's
talented man. Talented mun.
Yeah. Tenko. We didn't like Tenko, did we?
I feel like we gave it a bit of a disservice because, of course, although we didn't like Tenko, we only watched the first episode, didn't we? Which isn't very Tenko-y.
Which isn't really Tenko, yeah.
Tricky
we must
one.
watch some more, mustn't we?
Yeah, we should.
I'm
make
sure
that
it's
our...
brilliant. Highly regarded TV show, and we get anyway. No score draw on the 17th of February, late kickoff, TV and emails, and then we did a commentary to Death of the Daleks episode 1 on the 24th of February,
which was great. Recommend that. Start of our commentaries. We love Death of the Daleks.
Sync up your. This was your idea to do that commentary as well, I think.
It's been requested quite a lot, and it certainly seems to be quite a good hit. Doesn't it? So hopefully, we're still doing that. We're currently doing commentary of Pyramids of Mars.
Yeah.
Or
Do you
one
think
of
we'll
them.
ever finish it?
Who knows? Just imagine. Following that, we then on the 3rd of March we did Sapphire and Steel.
Sapphire and Steel have been assigned.
We gave that a high mark, didn't we?
We loved it.
Well, as if we could give it anything else.
So we finally did. Have we done tripods before? We did it on the 10th of March.
I think that we had actually not got round to doing tripods yet.
We
just scrolled up. We were just talking about it at that point, and that was before we sat down and watched it.
Yeah. And then more Death of the Daleks commentary on the 17th of March. Need we say more? Moving on to the 24th of March.
Oh, love it. Sweeney. Which was the pilot, actually. This is Regan, which is the pilot film, which I loved. Really recommend that one. Big into the Sweeney. Always got time for it. Same with Professionals. Love all that stuff.
And let's just end on this one. We're going to have a part 4 of these. It's ridiculous. The Benji and Nick show. The Benji and Nick and Jamie dining experience. Just tell us something about that nonsense.
Yeah, we all got together in your flat in London and we cooked curry soup, which was wonderful.
It wasn't meant to be curry soup. It was meant to be a curry. And did it in a pressure cooker and it retained too much liquid.
Retained itself too much. We had some cocktails and we just had a good old giggle, really. It was great fun. Great fun. We had Millionaire Shortbread as well, didn't we?
Did we?
I believe so, because I remember having it for breakfast.
No, it was cookies. I made cookies.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you're right.
Chocolate cookies. It's Millionaire Shortbread that I've made recently. Yeah. I just had some for lunch. We still had some in the freezer.
God, I've got a white chocolate cheesecake in the fridge at the moment. Very nice. Very, very nice. Very light.
I'm insanely out of time. Let's just see whether Jamie Anderson, since we were talking about him, is around. He's probably very noisy. He's at the Cam Mipcon something or other. Oh.
Nick Briggs.
Podcast Benji and Nick. Not much time.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Ça va bien, merci.
Et vous?
Ah, fantastique.
Okay, we just got time for a quick question for Jamie.
Yep, okay.
Have you done anything important today with media types?
Yes, mostly unrepeatable things, unfortunately.
You sound like you got a cold. Have you just woken up?
No, I've got some weird snivelly something or other, but not a cold, so...
Benji's just had a flu jab and it's made him ill.
Yes, it does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad
Got a question
headaches.
then, Benji?
Yeah, it's come up with quite a good one, quite relevant. Who in the movie business seems the most down to earth?
That's really difficult. I don't actually know. There's quite a few very surprisingly friendly people. I'm not, although it's all TV people here, not really movies. Does that?
We'll count them.
Just
we'll
people
count
you
them.
know of, in the media, sort of.
Nick Briggs.
I'm in the movie business, am I? Yeah, I've been in
Yeah,
movies,
yeah.
of course. Yes.
Yeah, you pretty much are, I think. Yeah.
Directors you've seen interviewed.
Yeah, it's quite tough. Oh, I'll tell you what, John Glenn,
Ah,
James Bond director.
yeah.
He's very down to earth and nice and thoughtful and very interested in other people. There you go.
That's almost unique in the media, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
It says paused. Ooh,
Yeah. Sorry, there's someone ringing me. They want to install a smart meter.
I bet they do. I don't know why I said that. Listen, that's it, Jamie. I'm out of time. I have to go and pick
Okay.
Ben up from school. But sorry to disturb
Okay.
you, and thank you for talking to us all the way from France.
It's my absolute
France.
pleasure.
Haw, hee haw. That's
I'll
that.
speak to you
Have a
soon,
lovely
mate.
afternoon.
Cheers. Bye, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Cut him off. That's how much I care. What are we going to do next time?
Next bit of commentary, I think. Pyramids of Mars 2.
Pyramids of Mars.
I think so. I think it's only fair.
Right. Okay. So when will I do that? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where are we?
Who do you think you are?
So I'll probably do it next. We'll record it next Friday, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, it's time to get close to the microphone.
Ah, yes.
Remind
that
you
time
to
again.
send your emails in to podcast@nicholasbriggs.com.
Do it indeed. Well, it's goodbye from me, so goodbye.
Goodbye. And don't forget that my son Ben will be along any second now to talk about stuff. So what's next?
1, 2, or 3.
3.
Okay, this is the one. Oh, okay. Remembrance of the Daleks. Also one of my favourite episodes. It is the episode where it's 2 Dalek, I don't know what to call it, races?
Factions, they usually call them.
2 Dalek. What does factions mean? Does it mean like 2 separate? Okay.
Yeah.
2 Dalek factions. I think it's Renegade versus Imperial.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Did I remember that? Oh,
You
wow.
did.
It's the Doctor is Sylvester McCoy. Wait, what did I say the first one? No, what was the first one? I can't remember.
Not Tomb of the Cybermen.
Yeah, where's the thing gone?
I don't know.
Oh, I
It's up
already
there.
said Patrick Charlton. No, that's good. So, the Sylvester McCoy years 1987 to 1989. It actually just says 89, but it's the last digits.
And why do you like Sylvester McCoy's stories? I thought it might have.
It's more funny. It's like more funny than, if there is scary bits, it's more funny than scary. But obviously this was not scary, really. It was just more intense with some of the scenes, like in the does this count as spoilers, or can I say in a child's school there's like in the basement / underground part there's a Dalek transporter, or like, is it teleporter? It's teleporter, transporter. And
You can spoil it all because people listening will all have seen this.
okay, good. So 1 disc. This is something odd. Look, read the first line.
The merchandise-fueled Dalek mania of the 60s and 70s may have passed the time of Remembrance of the Daleks in 1988.
So-
Passed by the time of Remembrance of the Daleks in 1988, but the reappearance of the metal meanies from Skaro in a news story was still a major event for fans of the series.
So apparently there was merchandise.
In the 1960s, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I just didn't know there was merchandise at all. Like, even if it was released today or back then. I liked it because Sylvester McCoy is funny, and he's one of my favourite doctors, and that the only reason I know that is because I've met him.
I think you met him in Australia.
I think I did.
But you're too young to remember that. Well, you were too young. You were
No,
3
wait. Was it when the lightning strikes? We were on like a balcony.
Hmm.
I remember that. I remember sitting at the table and stuff.
That was in a hotel on the Gold Coast. Is it called the Gold Coast or the Golden Coast?
Don't ask me. I don't know.
You were
That
only
was in
3.
Australia.
It was.
I remember that. You got out your phone, didn't you?
And took a photo.
Yeah, or filmed it, or started it. How do I remember that?
It's interesting. I didn't think you remembered anything about our holiday in Australia, but
that was probably one of the only things that I remember.
Well, we were in Sylvester's hotel room or apartment or whatever it was, and you left something behind.
Was it 2 or 1 figure? I think it was 2.
Was it?
I can't remember, but it was definitely David Tennant figures, Doctor Who figures.
I thought it was Matt Smith.
Actually, it might have been. I don't know.
And then
It's one of those.
Sylvester found them, and do you remember going to the studio to get them back?
No.
Because he was having an operation on his ankles, and when you arrived at the studio, he was going around in a buggy, and he had the Doctor figures on the front of the buggy for you to get.
I do not remember that. How old was I?
You would have been 4 by then, I think.
I can remember things when I was 3, but not when I was 4.
Memory's an interesting thing, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
How many times do you reckon you've watched Remembrance of the Daleks?
I don't know. I don't think I've watched this one as much, even though I've enjoyed it a bit more, maybe, because it's in colour, which just gives you a bit more. Oh, I remember Davros in his, Imperial pod. In, this spaceship that suddenly hovered up and then you teleport up there or something.
Yeah.
And it landed outside school in the playground, and there was hopscotch on the floor. And, yeah. Yeah.
Favourite scenes?
When Sylvester McCoy is running up the stairs and the basement door is locked and the Dalek is following him up there. And then also the one where the Dalek's coming down the corridor and they blew the Dalek up.
How would you recommend this to people, if you were going to recommend to people to watch it?
It's action-packed, interesting. There was this, I think it was that baseball bat that was something rather cursed or something. I don't know what was it, but when it's hurt when you touch it. I don't know what was that. It was in this mystery box as well, with steam coming out of it. And then Sylvester McCoy was talking to a blind person who didn't know who he was because he thought he was someone else. And then they went over to a grave and put the baseball bat in the grave, I think, wasn't it?
It's amazing. You haven't seen it for years and you're remembering all these.
It's one of my favourite episodes, so I can't not remember it.
Anything else you'd like to recommend about it to anyone who is thinking of whether to watch it or not?
It's one of the only DVDs that actually has 2 Dalek types in one episode and they're actually against each other. So it just shows that Daleks aren't just all one race, they're all separate groups of different manufactured Daleks that they want the same thing but don't necessarily want to work with each other.
Lovely.
Pressing stop now, ka-chunk.